What's going on, everybody? D-Style Boxing here. This is another edition of Aftermath. We have Joe Habib from Ringside Reporter will be joining us for this segment with Shannon O'Connell. And, of course, Mario Munguia from the Infighting Pod. Make sure you follow them both. Great content. And also remember about the roundtable on Ringside Reporter this Thursday. Make sure you guys are there. If you like the content, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button so you're notified when D-Style Boxing comes on live. We will have Shannon O'Connell on shortly. For those that don't know, she's been the IBF, according to Australian Boxing News, and according to Shannon O'Connell's team, they have ordered the fight. They have gone in the favor of the team O'Connell. They made an argument to the IBF, and they say, you know what? You guys are right. We can't keep making you wait and leaving you out in the cold. We got to give you that shot. So they've announced. We just had her on like maybe 2 weeks ago. And she's on with us right now. Let me see if I can get her on. Give me a second. While it loads on her end, make sure you guys hit my like button. All right. Hit that like and the subscribe button if you like the content. It's loading on her end, so I'm just waiting for that to load here. Jesus Sam, how's it going? Santiago Media, Sean C. Pearls, how's it going? And Shannon, can you hear us? What's going on, Lennox? Was best? It's still not loading on her end. I'm not sure what's going on. Well, let's give it a moment. You know, one of those things. Internet, you know what I mean? Shannon, if you could hear us, if you could hear me, just kind of, if you could like exit out and come back in, just so it could reload. I think that's what the issue is. And all that good stuff. Remy says, Saludos, D-Style, Joe, Habib, and Mario. How's it going? I think we got her on.
What up, champ?
Maybe that's when she was reloading. Okay. She'll be on a little bit, guys. But, Beeb, well, really quick, before she comes out, what do you make of the, of the news here?
Well,
September deadline.
It sounds pretty good, but again, we've seen stranger things happen in the sport of boxing. Let's just keep our fingers crossed. That's all I can say.
Oh, for sure. Shannon, can you hear us?
Yes, I can now.
Great.
In Bali, the internet's not great.
Yeah, well, you made it work. You see, you made an adjustment, and it's working now. All right. So, first of all, how are you doing this? I guess it's morning over there.
Yeah, it's Tuesday morning. I'm like losing my own days. Yeah, I'm good. Great.
Definitely. It's not
Last
Friday.
day in Bali, going home.
Absolutely, absolutely. First of all, thank you for joining us again, especially under short notice. We definitely appreciate it. So first of all, for those that don't know, we kind of already mentioned it. Go ahead and give people over here stateside the news with the IBF.
So we've been chasing to be like to have the fight called ordered, and it was sort of not happening, and we thought we sort of came to the conclusion we're gonna have to wait until March when so that she's had the title for a year. I last minute booked a holiday, I think it was Friday last week, got off the plane, and I had all these messages on my phone saying they just got the official notification from the IBF that they've ordered the fight. There's 30 days for the negotiation period, and the fight has to take place by September 26th. So I was at the Bali airport going, holy shit.
Holy shit. All right. And of course, for those that don't know, Ebony Bridges happens to be the IBF champion. There's been crickets on Ebony's side. I know you, your team, I saw some interviews. You've talked about it. But it's kind of quiet over there, like crickets kind of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she might be still trying to
that?
Google who I am. She might be trying to still Google who I am.
Google who you are? Do you buy that? Obviously, we know that she knows who you are, obviously. You know what I mean?
Of course she does.
There's no doubt about that. But she put out a post. I just wanted to, I'm just, I know I'm kind of like instigating maybe, but she put out a post of like a little dog barking. And she says, all I hear is an old dog barking. I don't know if it was about you because it was cryptic. Like she didn't say.
Of course it was about me.
So I mean, what do you make of that? Because she won't mention your name still.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm only 3 years older than her. I'm not sure what she's on about. Like, it'd be different if she was 26 calling me old, but she's 36 this year. I'm 39, like big deal. I fought Marcela Acuna when she was 41, and she's still fighting. I fought her 5 years ago.
Oh, there you go.
Like, I mean, it's just going to make her look even more stupid because she knows that I'll beat her, and she knows that she's putting me down, saying I'm a nobody, I'm old. But well, now she's going to get beat by someone that's a nobody and old.
Damn.
Even though the fight's been ordered, do you anticipate any roadblocks, any delays in getting the fight actually done, signed, sealed, and delivered?
I don't believe they'll come from her team at all. I think if anything, she might pull a fake injury or something, but that's probably the only thing that'll get in the way.
Okay. Now,
go ahead.
Is this bad blood genuine, or is it basically just a competitive rivalry, or is there a genuine dislike between the two of you?
I genuinely dislike her, but I've never actually met her. I don't like anything that she's about. Like, this whole, I've been boxing for nearly 20 years. And when I started, there was like women were nothing. And I feel like along with a lot of other women, we've busted our asses for next to nothing and gained some respect in the sport. And then she's sort of come along and flashed her belongings, and she's just taken away all the respect that we've gained. Like, guys aren't watching her for her boxing ability, they're watching her for what she's going to wear to the weigh-in. And like, really, like, get over it. She's like, how many times can you see the same thing? We've seen it all. She doesn't hide anything. So and the whole, like, it's all about the fame. That's not why I box. If I was boxing for money and fame, then I'm stupid, because I've been doing the sport for 20 years and the money's not, like, I've kept going even when there was really no money in it.
Go on, Mario.
Now,
so for me, I genuinely dislike everything she's about. She's got no loyalty. She's got no respect for herself or other people, and for the sport.
So, okay, from my perspective as a fan, looking on the outside in, right, and getting all this content, getting all the stuff that's going on in the media and the stuff you're saying now, would you say, like, let's get into the promotion, right? The fight sign, I mean, knock on wood and everything, the fight sign, we're in the promotion. Is this a fight between a sweet scientist and a sex symbol? Is this a fight between a fighter and a beauty queen? And not my words, I'm just saying, is that to you what this fight is?
Absolutely.
100%.
I don't know that I'd call her a beauty queen, more skanky stripper or something. I don't know, but I see what you're saying.
Savage. Whoa,
Man,
love it. Yeah, that excites me. It really does. Just the, I mean, everybody wants some sort of conflict in their boxing matches, right? But just to pivot a little bit, how exciting is it for you to be in a position where you're going to be on this world stage, more eyeballs on you than ever, and for fans to get to see your personality, to get to learn more about you? I saw, I read the other day you were born with a club foot, and the doctor told your mom that, you might not walk fully. I don't know how to say that. I don't want to say normal, but you know what I'm saying? Let alone play sports. And here you are as a professional in a sport. I mean, that's stuff that, fans resonate with. How do you feel about, putting yourself out there more?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, it'd be great for people to see, why I really do it. And, I mean, obviously the club foot, I was born, I was Forrest Gump with like one leg, obviously not.
I had a cousin,
two. But if I didn't get the operation when I was born, I wouldn't be walking properly. But I mean, not only that, like, I've got a massive story and a lot of reason for why I do boxing, why I've busted myself in this sport. It's more a mental health thing for me. Like, both my parents are dead. My dad died when I was 2. My mum was a drug addict. Like, I grew up rough, and boxing saved my life. So I've got that, that story that a lot of boxers have, but they're generally the ones that are more deserving and work the hardest for where they get.
But this one's your story, so that's what makes it unique, right? One last question before you go off to you, D. So you're in this position where, like we talked about the promotion, what kind of promotion it could be, but at the same time, being a realist, can't we say that while her methods might not be for everybody, they have in fact worked? And there is also a I guess, way to connect it to the Jake Pauls and everybody else, where it's like you can build this clout outside of the ring that helps you inside, and fast track things. So I mean, don't we also have to admit that this is where we're headed? It feels like.
Yeah, I think, you know, each to their own. I like she's doing what she's doing, and sorry, she's it's getting her places. It's just my ways are different, but she's doing a good job at what she's about. We're just about different things.
Well, there you go.
I mean, I'm sure if she wasn't doing what she was doing, then for the public, no one would really care as much about this fight. I mean, the Australian public would, but worldwide, no one would really care. But, you know, she's made herself a name. I think a lot of people are either backing what she's doing or they want to see her be exposed.
Well said. I think you're absolutely right. I think that's like the way it is with a lot of the fringe, you know, boxer, entertainer clan right now. But yeah, well said.
There you go. Go ahead, Joe.
I was going to say, because the road's been so tough for you and it hasn't been easy, like other fighters have, you know, they've gotten their title shots quick. They've gotten the big push early in their careers. Because it's been so tough for you, has it made you appreciate the sport more? Do you think that winning this title or fighting for this title and possibly winning this title, do you think it'll mean more to you because it's been so hard? And because it's been so hard for you, it's kind of made you who you are as a person and as a fighter. Would you have had it any other way?
Yeah, that, you know, that's like, it's a question that I get asked a lot. Like, you know, I'm with my manager, Glenn Jennings, and No Limit, and everyone's like, oh, you know, if only that was 10 years ago. But I believe that the timing was right. I wouldn't have appreciated it or deserved it. And I might not have even sort of been as mature enough to accept it all if it happened 10 years ago. So 100%, it's going to mean so much more to me. Probably, you know, I've got 3 kids. My youngest one, he doesn't understand, but my 2 oldest ones, my son has been by my side through every single part of my professional boxing career. So it's going to mean so much for me to share that moment with him too, because he comes in my corner.
Now, something bizarre about your career is usually boxers, they start at the lower weight classes and then they move up. You kind of did it. You kind of did it in reverse. Explain why your career took that path.
I really I was 51 kilos as an amateur, so I just took the fights where they were. My first world title shot was at featherweight, but I mean, I'm not a featherweight. I walk around at featherweight to super featherweight. So I just took the fights where they were. I was always the B side. I was always the opponent coming in, hoping for the upset. And, you know, there was times where it was nearly there, but it wasn't. So who cares? But yeah, I campaigned at super bantamweight for a while, and then I never had to sit in a sauna. I never had to cut weight. So I was like, I'm gonna get the extra weight off, and it's been probably the best move I've made.
You said you're the B side for most of your career, but if you win this fight, you could possibly be the A side moving forward. Now, how do you accept that role, and what do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I'll be the A side in some of my fights, but I'm sure they'll still be classed as the B side if it comes to unifications. I work well like that. I work well either way, really. Like, I think I fight better under pressure. So I like to be the B side, but I mean, I always want to better myself. I don't want the easy fights. And I mean, that shows I've got losses because I've always tested myself and taken risks.
I want to touch upon the shoulder, because we have one thing in common, because I have a torn labrum too, and in my right shoulder. And I suffered that when I was about 39 years old, about 14 years ago. And I never got the surgery. I did the rehab, and I can still do just about everything, but certain things I can't do. Like, I'm not really supposed to pull my elbow past my back, and I really don't hit the heavy bag and stuff anymore. But I noticed when I did hit the heavy bag, after a while, you know, the twisting, you can feel that rubbing, and you can feel like it's almost like an eraser rubbing up against a piece of paper. The little particles come off there. So I want to ask, did you injure that shoulder in around 2017, and you got the surgery in 2021? And what did you actually have done? Did you have just like a debridement, a scope, or did you actually have the labrum reattached back to the bone with the sutures? Can you walk me through that?
I had it reattached. It actually happened in my last fight. So obviously there's wear and tear that was happening over years. I mean, I've been boxing for nearly 20 years, so I guess your shoulders are doing things they're not supposed to do. But the actual, I've got a photo in the fight where my arm is completely dislocated throwing a jab. But it happened, the tear was so bad that I couldn't move without it dislocating. It was basically just rolling around. And the surgeon told us after the surgery that I needed a replacement shoulder. So I've got pieces of cartilage like this big were torn away, and they were sort of jamming and getting, I couldn't move my arm before the surgery.
It was impinged.
I could, there's not a chance I could have lived a normal life without that surgery. Like I had all the anchors, and it was a major surgery.
Yeah, so it could have been torn for a great portion of your career, and you just probably didn't know the extent of it. And then in the fight, it went. Did you feel like your hand and your wrist going numb and stuff?
Not in the fight, but after the fight, like people were hugging me, and I was like, I can't lift my arm. And then that was straight after the fight, and then within an hour, I literally couldn't move my arm. So
in
I
your
had surgery
opinion,
only a few days after.
So in your opinion, is that shoulder close to 100%, or compare your shoulder now to before the surgery? How far along are you in terms of functionality in that shoulder?
I'd say it's more, so I've got the stability in my shoulder is there. It's 100%. It's more the strength and the using the muscles again, and obviously my confidence. It takes me a while until I'm confident to just flick my jab, because if it it's more a fear inside me that it's not that I'm not going to redo it. It's just it's a bit more
psychological.
I don't know if I don't know if I can do that, but I can. I mean, I don't think I think I threw about 400 punches in the minute and a half. My last fight went for it. I didn't think twice about it.
That's how much you miss boxing. You just kept throwing punches. You know what I mean?
Good therapy for that too is like the resistance bands. I don't know if you've been doing that with it.
Yeah, I do all of that. My rehab now goes for just as long as everyday rehab goes for as long as my training sessions.
So you mentioned your management. How satisfied do you feel like they were able to make this happen? Because people from behind the scenes were telling me they ain't gonna order that fight. It's not gonna happen. The people were just saying it's wishful thinking, right? But they made it happen. The IBF ordered the fight. So how satisfied do you feel with that?
Well, when I first spoke to Glenn Jennings only 8 months ago, he said to me, "I promise you'll get a world title fight." And 8 months later, it's happening. I mean, it's he's got other things in the plans, and I mean, he really makes things happen. And No Limit Boxing as well. He's been discussing things on the phone to the IBF. He's already spoken to Eddie. Matt Rose they've just been so good to me.
Are you anticipating the possibility, two possibilities? One, that because there's already, some members of the media saying things like, I don't know, I want to see unification or whatever, right?
It's not allowed.
But do you, so you're saying that they can't, if she unifies with the IBA champion, WBA, champion, they can't, maybe postpone it or something? Is that something you've thought about? Or what if, are you prepared to or have you thought about, what if she vacates and you got to fight somebody else in that division for the vacant belt?
Well, she's not, now that they've ordered the fight, she's not allowed to unify unless I think they approve it and I approve it, which I'm not going to approve it. I think if the fight hadn't been ordered, then it's allowed to get overridden. But because the fight's been ordered, there's no out of the fight. The title will be taken off of her. And I mean, I'm assuming then it will be number 1, number 2, and that's whatever.
Okay.
It's not, for me, it's not just about fighting Ebony. It's the belt. I don't want the belt. I don't care who's got the belt. I want the belt.
No, for sure. And that's the way it should be. But I guess maybe it's people that haven't been following you or something, but I keep hearing it's mostly her fans. Oh, she just wants this fight because, You know, she wants the name. She wants the recognition. She wants like that's basically what's happening right now. Like almost like you're clout chasing or whatnot, Ebony Bridges. But you've been wanting this fight. Like you were rated higher than her and Courtney, right? When they fought for the vacant WBA, right?
And I believe so was Shanika, and we fought for the gold, and they were fighting for, like, it was. I don't know how that made sense. We were both ranked higher than both of them.
So here's what I want to kind of say, and it goes a lot to the media members that kind of back her up or whatever, right? I keep hearing a lot of what has Shannon O'Connell done to, or whatever, right? Leaving aside the fact that you're number one in WBA, IBF, so you've already done the things to be number one. Leaving aside the fact that she herself said she should become the mandatory, and well, here you are, you're the mandatory. Leaving all that aside, she herself was a voluntary of Roman, right? She didn't earn that shot. She didn't beat anybody for that position to get that shot. Her and Courtney didn't do anything to get their shot. She's gotten 2 shots at titles before you did. How do you feel about media members, and if you want to speak to them directly, that keep saying things like, Shannon O'Connell, I don't want to see her fight Bridges because I'd rather see Bridges fight the other champion. She hasn't done anything to earn that shot, etc. What do you say to those, those pundits and fans?
To be honest, they're all going to be biting their tongues. Like it's embarrassing for them that the crap that they're coming out with. That I haven't done anything. don't deserve that. I've had 30 pro fights. Like, I mean, yeah, okay. My comeback fight after surgery was against someone that was a novice, but most of her fights have been against novices. When she fought Beck Connolly, the girl that I fought would beat Beck Connolly. So she took 3 rounds to knock her out. Well, I don't know. I don't understand why she deserves anything. What, because she gets her clothes off? Okay, that's boxing. It just makes no sense. Like anyone that doesn't want this fight is her fans and friends, and that's for one reason only, is because it's too much of a risk for her.
Well, I think anyone that listens to this interview is going to want this fight now because of the bad blood. But I want to ask you, do you think this fight belongs in Australia? Because she's been fighting in the UK. That's her home away from home right now. And she's even said that she doesn't want to fight in Australia anymore, she wants to fight her future fights, or at least recent future fights in the near future in the UK. Where do you want this fight to be, and does it matter to you? Would you prefer it to be in Australia?
Obviously, I'd prefer it to be in Australia. I mean, it's big for boxing in Australia, women's boxing in Australia. I mean, I don't understand her saying, I've got no intentions of fighting in Australia again. Like, someone made a comment about Katie Taylor. She lives in the UK, fights in America, fights in the UK, wants to fight in Ireland. Like, why wouldn't you want to have a world title fight in front of your own people? It is. I mean, even someone said same thing. Sky Nicholson, Ramla Ali, they all want to fight in front of their home crowd. Like, it just makes no sense to me, other than she just knows that she, in front of the UK judges, she might get a bit of biasy. But I don't care. I will fight her anywhere. I will fight her in America. I will fight her in England. I don't care. I just want the fight.
As the people's champ for Australia.
Look. I want to ask you this. So if the fight happens, hopefully it happens, right? I know you said, I know you said that you don't think she'll fight you, but I'm pretty sure you want to be wrong. Like, I'm sure you hope she does fight you, right? But if this fight happens, right, and you two get in the ring, you have a great fight, let's say you win or whatnot, do you think you could be okay with her afterwards? Like, if she does fight you, she does sign, you get in the ring, hey, afterwards, can you see the bad blood just going away after that?
Oh, look, I don't think the blood won't be as bad, because if she signs and she gets in the ring and we have a good, we fight, then respect to her for doing that. I still don't believe in her ways of getting where she's gotten. I still don't believe in her morals. That to me, that's not bad blood. That's just my beliefs. I don't like the way she goes about things. I wouldn't like my daughter to be looking up to someone like that. That's just my views, and that's not going to change unless she changes. But I mean, I'm still not going to like the fact that she did that to get where she was. Like, But she will have my respect as a fighter if she gets in that ring.
Now, another question I have. So let's say the fight does happen, right? Weigh-ins. Can you like go off on her? Like if she starts saying the wrong things to you right there, can you contain yourself? Don't put hands on her at the weigh-in. Don't headbutt her. If she calls you names, like can you contain yourself? You know, because it looks like you don't like her, right? And she could say the wrong thing, and then I don't know, you headbutt her or something. You know, like can you contain yourself? Or are we going to need security at the weigh-ins?
I feel like you've been having the same visions I've been having. No, look, I will contain myself. I'm very professional when it comes to that. I'll say what I think. But I mean, come fight time, I'm there to fight. I'm not there to, make anything at the weigh-in. Like, I honestly believe that she is actually petrified of me as a human. She might talk the talk and say I'm a nothing, but that's because she's scared. So I don't believe she'll go over the top. But whatever, she's just going to make herself look stupid. The amount of videos that I've seen of people going off at the weigh-in and then getting knocked out is I'd never put myself in that position. So I'm there to fight come fight time, not the weigh-in.
You're there to fight. And just an idea for Eddie Hearn, before I go to you, Beep, they got to do a face-off, like one of those where you sit down on a table and you're both facing off, like just sitting down face-to-face. That's money. They got to do it. Put it on whatever it is, the zone, whatever, wherever it is, right? I think that's the way to go, in my opinion, because I think you two having a talk would be gold because you don't like each other, and fans like that. It is what it might sound, whatever, but that's how I feel. But would you be willing to do one of those sit downs face to face for 30 minutes? I know you can't stand her, but would you be willing to do it for our entertainment?
Yeah, 100%. I'd do that. Like, I mean, I've not been trashy in anything I've said. I say things how they are. I say things how I see them. All that she's got is a foul mouth and a trashy talk, and that's just going to make her look stupid. I'm more than happy to expose that side of her even more. That's fun. I'm happy to do. I think it'd be good for boxing. I mean, you see so much of the top guys doing all that stuff. So if we can do it, awesome.
Okay, all right. Go ahead, Pete.
Now, obviously, we live in this world of social media, and the only interaction you and her have had is through social media, it seems. And you've never met her, as you said. Do you think when you guys do meet,
Bridges blocked her, brother? She blocked her.
Yeah, I don't have social. I guess I get a few screenshots here and there.
Yeah, I get it.
So, but your interactions are through the internet somehow, some way. So what I'm saying is, do you think when you guys do meet in person, maybe it could be different? Do you think she'll probably bring a different energy? Or do you think it'll be the same? You could be surprised in your first meeting with her.
Yeah, I might be. Who knows? I'm whatever, but I'm still going to see her for what she's doing, and I don't like it. I don't even some of the things that I see where her comments to people. I'm just like the things that she said in her interviews, like her language, her. I mean, I'm no saint, I swear, but in front of a camera, like. Who are you?
She did.
It's yuck.
Like she called you, forgive me, but she called you a cunt, right?
Whoa!
Yeah. She did, but like I was like, well, that's kind of like is she really that just because she wants her title shot? Like, does that really I just felt kind of like that was a little off, a little out there, you know what I mean? But yeah, but look. Well, I have one more question for you because I know you're on vacation. We need to let you go a little bit. So, look, before the announcement, she was laughing at the fact that almost like snickering on Twitter that you haven't been mandated and like little laughing emojis. She on the Ring IQ interview, she had all the way she was talking, like, what has she done? I'm the champion. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And I'm going to fight whoever's in front of me, not behind me. It was a different language, right? She was talking like she was like Canelo or some shit, right? But then recently she's been talking differently, right? Like, oh, guys, it's not up to me. I don't make the calls. My team makes the calls. I let my promoters pick my fights. If it was up to me, I would fight every month, if it was up to me. But unfortunately, I don't make the calls. My team makes those decisions. So now it's about her team. I don't know about you, Shannon. That sounds like duck talk to me. That sounds she's ready to just not take the hit. And And if you remember, I told you off record, I had said if she was smart, she would have said that from the beginning, right? She would have said, I don't make the decisions. But now she's going that route. Do you think someone talked to her and told her, look, you can't be talking that way because you can't say things because then, look, now she's the mandatory. So do you think maybe Eddie Hearn or somebody talked to her and said, if we don't make the fight, let me take the blame? Do you think someone talked to her or something? Is she ready to duck you?
Yeah, maybe, or she just she didn't think that we were going to be able to make it happen. So she maybe just thinks now she probably already feels a bit stupid for all the things that she said. And that's her way out of it, I guess. Like, oh, well, I'll fight anyone, like whatever. But the other thing, she's sort of contradicting herself with saying that is because she's also said, I've got no interest in fighting in Australia. And, all of her fans keep saying, oh, well, she's the champ. She'll fight where she wants to fight. I don't know if that's how it works when your promoter does your negotiations. Like, she'll fight where our promoters discuss and agree on. Like, so will I. I don't know. Does she manage and promote herself these days, or what? Like, she's not calling the shots.
I mean, definitely become like a bigger entity. You're right. Real quick, fun question, because I know you got to go. So you talk about you've been envisioning everything. Do you happen to have, because I'm a fan of your ink, right? It looks great. Do you happen to have an idea for the victory tattoo? Any ideas at all? Maybe a little championship or the date?
To be honest, all of my tattoos are like sort of memories and the way I was like strengthened and that sort of thing. I don't have anything that's like a victory tattoo for me. It's all like, my kids and my dad, my mom, my grandparents. It's all sort of what's made me who I am. Pretty much all of my tattoos, not all of them, most of them. So I haven't really thought about that, but maybe that's a good idea.
There you go. Your first victory tattoo.
Well, one more thing. If you can, look at the camera. What do you want to tell, not just Bray, what do you want to tell the division? What do you want to tell Luna? What do you want to tell, Dorsland? All of them, all the champions. And what do you want to tell the fans about your plans with this division? Just go ahead and take this moment, look at the camera. What do you want to tell this division? If you want to put them on notice.
Let's do it. I want to fight you all. Like, I'm keen. I'm definitely ready, and I want to fight. I want all of them. I obviously want to get through Bridges first, and then we'll look at what's next.
There you go. Well, Shannon, I appreciate you coming on, Shotgun Shannon, and we'll hope to have you back on in the future. And I'm glad you got the news, and I hope the fight happens, for all the boxing world. And that's all I got to say. But you have a good one, Shannon.
Congrats.
Legend. Thank you, guys.
All right, there we go. You know what I mean? Hey, Beeb, any final words before we let you go, brother? Because I know you're like tired and Bruce Goes is older than you, and he's got the energy. But apparently
I may stay on because Bruce Goes is here just for that. But I gotta get a new hip pair of headphones because my ears are burning after you drop the C word, man.
Oh, come on.
My ears are burning after you drop the C word. I'm appalled.
What do you guys think? Is she gonna get the shot, babe? Is she gonna get the shot?
I want to be honest.
Is Eddie Hearn going to work some weird magic?
I'm skeptical, man. I'm skeptical. They ordered it, but we've seen fights been ordered before and not go through. I don't want to be negative, but I'm skeptical.
Right.
I'm skeptical.
She'll fake an injury or something like that. Interim IBF shot or some shit like that.
We'll IBF will say, oh well, we'll throw another eliminator in there, but the IBF's not like the WBC, so that's
no, they're not.
They're pretty good when it comes to their mandatories. They're sticklers when it comes to their mandatories. They're probably the strictest out of all the sanctioning bodies. So, boxing has me jaded. It has me skeptical. But the one bright spot here is it's the IBF. If it was the WBC, then I would probably say the fight's not going to happen.
I will say this. Whoever wants more details on how they got it done, you could go to Boxing Deep Dive. They did an interview with Shannon O'Connell and her manager. And he details how it all happened. And I kind of believe them when they say they're not going to let her unify until she fights, which makes me think she might actually vacate. You know what I mean? Or come up with some bullshit injury or something.
I just don't think that she's as valuable without the belt. And don't get me wrong, I understand that her popularity goes past boxing in a very specific and probably a big way too. But as a fighter, like, you know, you can't be the champion of like YouTube views. You know, you can't be the champion of OnlyFans or, you know, anything like that. Like, and that's not like a shot. That's not a shot. I'm just saying, like, she has to have that belt.
Watching. She's mad at you now.
Well, Beeb's ears are burning now. But you know, it's just one of those things where I just don't think it works. And here's the thing: if you're Shannon, it's like, well, if you want to vacate. I'll take the belt. And you know, it's like, this is still boxing. We're gonna recognize the title holders, and if you know, you're gonna go that direction. But I do agree with Beeb. I mean, the boxing has us so jaded that it's like, how many different ways have we seen, you know, people's shots be taken away from them? And the only question that I really feel like we didn't push her on, I wanted to push her a little bit, is like, if they come to you with some absurd amount of money and say, step aside.
I was going to ask her that. I
wanted to, but she kind of answered it already. She's like,
but like, how much are they going to like, how much are they going to offer? You know, like,
you know what I was listening to here, man? I was listening to a big event in Australia, bro. I mean, right now, you know, pay-per-views, and it's kind of dwindling out. People know how to get these for free, but live gates, man, live gates can bring big purses. And this looks like a national war going on here, bro. I mean, this, you know, and plus, everybody you ask, who's your favorite female boxer? Ebony. Oh, yeah. That's my favorite boxer, bro. I mean, it's
this fight would sell. I know it would.
Exactly, bro. That's all I'm saying about it. I'm not a big fan of women's boxing, but I'd stream it.
Whoa, we gotta, you know.
You know, and to your point, D-Style, you know, I would say that maybe she would get stripped and fight for one of the other titles instead. But those are tougher fights. They're just as tough, if not tougher. So yes, you know, it's not like she could, you know, pick up an easy title win like she did for this IBF belt.
Here's what I didn't get to before we move on, but I just wanted to kind of show this. I didn't get to this, but like, there's still, it's not, even if they slither away and do the unification, here's a reality. She's number one in the IBF and the WBA. So it's Mitchell and Bridges that want to unify. So regardless of who wins, she's number one on both. So I think what her team should be doing is trying to get the mandate at the WBA site too. So that way, no matter who wins, they got to fight her. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I feel about it. But hey, man, thanks for chiming in there, Bruce. And Calix, how's it going, brother?
What's up? Happy Monday to y'all.
I know Calix is a big Ebony Bridges fan. He was protesting in the chat. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Really. It was like, don't talk about my girl Ebony like that. You know what I mean?
Not really.
Hey, bro, her weigh-ins break the internet.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Yeah. Isn't the whole like, oh, Eddie Hearn was checking me out, like, getting old? To me, it is. It's getting old. Like, it's getting really old. Like he won't be looking, and like, it's like, oh, he's trying hard not to look at me. Like, it's getting old, bro. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, but hey, I want to ask you guys, man. I don't even want to talk about this, but because I'm a fan, but look, Gabriel Flores, there's no other way to put it. He got beat up. It wasn't even a big puncher, and he made this Cabrera look like Tank Davis or something. Like it was crazy, bro. He made him look like a power puncher. Like, it was crazy. And to me, it's like, yo, if you can't take his punches, someone else is really gonna hurt you. Like, really gonna hurt you. You know? Calix, what you make, and what do you think should happen with Gabriel Flores?
Yeah, and that's why I brought it up at the end of the roundtable last week, that Flores is coming back, and I was intrigued by it because I just had a feeling, man, and I should have pulled the trigger on the toss-up fight because I just had a feeling with Cabrera. And the sad part about it, D-Style, is, and you had the tweet of the night, in my opinion, because I was tweeting about it, and you said, you know what, I think he should retire at 22 years old. As crazy as it sounds, but Cabrera, he was in there with Cabrera because Cabrera is not a puncher. Cabrera had a 33% knockout ratio coming in.
Yeah.
30. That's the reason he's in there with him. He's not supposed to be getting knocked down 3 times against him. He's not supposed to be getting hurt that many times. It's alarming. It was just tough. those are the toughest watches for me. Just seeing a guy who you just know there's no pathway forward. It looks to me like he's probably going to get dropped by Top Rank after that. He can't stay at 135 because he didn't have power and he didn't have a chin at 130, and he can't make 130 anymore. So there's no pathway for him at 130, and then 135, he loses this fight and he calls for a rematch against the guy who a year and a half, 2 years ago, we would have been saying he beats that guy easy. So it's tough to watch, man. These are the toughest watches for me because you just watch him getting beat up. And the only pathway forward really is to market him as an exciting fighter and put him in there with inferior opposition and doing it. But the problem with that is he's taking more punishment. You just don't want to see guys get hit that much. And he's 22 years old getting beat up that much. So it was tough, man. I'm with you.
Hey, shout out to Tony Boswell, man. I appreciate you being here. Hey, like he says, hit the like button, salute. You got home from work, you're stopping by to hit the like button. I appreciate your support, brother. Shout out to Boxing Vitals, El Chido, Mario Munguia in the chat, Chicano Prophet on here. Lennox was best, saying he'll be surprised if the fight doesn't happen. He's talking, of course, about the women fight, but Manny and Vivo Marrero on here. Wepa, how's it going, brother? Sonteo on here. All you guys, man. I appreciate you guys being here. But Beeb, what do you think of Gabriel Flores, man? He took a beat. I felt bad for him. I don't even know why they were interviewing him after the fight.
You know what's crazy? He was the loser, and they interviewed him before they interviewed the winner.
That was weird.
Another ridiculous move by ESPN. Then the argument could be, well, he was, they wanted to get him back to the locker room so he can get medical attention, but he looked fine back in the locker room. It wasn't like they rushed him to the hospital or anything. But either he retires or he gets relegated to gatekeeper status. I just don't think he has it. And the problem with being relegated to gatekeeper status is the up-and-comers are going to use you for, basically a litmus test, right? And usually when that happens, a lot more incidences like we saw on Saturday will continue to take place, right? So it's either continue on and face the risk of getting beat up over and over again, or call it a day. I may consider, if I'm advising him, to tell him to call it a day. In my opinion, it was pretty sad to watch. I agree with you 100%.
It's boxing the store, and Gabriel Flores took a beat down by a guy who's not known as a big puncher. And his punch resistance is gone. He's swelling up easily. What do you make of it, brother? Do you think he should call it a day?
You're talking about Gabe Flores Jr., right?
Yes.
Nostalgia. It was nostalgia.
Oh, man. Well, I guess the only good thing that's going for him is that he's 22. And there's a chance he can improve. I mean, as a young fighter, he suffered. Was this his second or third loss at this point? It's to me. I think the only look they gotta go back to the drawing board, because it could go real bad for him real quick. Because that fight was not remotely close. He got dropped at least 2 times from what I remember. He didn't have nothing going for him. Nothing. There's nothing there to even say there was a positive out of the damn loss that he had. They got to think about. He got to think for himself what he needs, what he wants to do after this point, and his team has to figure out how they need to match him up, because this point he looked like he's meat in the water for the damn Sharks, man.
Yeah. Hey, Bruce Goes, are we going too far? Should we give the kid another shot? You see it the way I see it. I just don't think he's looking good in the ring, and I'm worried about him.
He got the shit kicked out of him, D Styles. Cabrera looked like he looked like a blue chipper, bro. And the first round, 2 brutal knockdowns, and then the other one was the third round knockdown, man. And his cheek was slashed open. That was deep to the bone. It was sad. After the fight, I could see his father wanting to get in there in the interview, but fucking Gabriel stood there, and you could see he was very emotional about it. He didn't know what to do. His last 3 fights were disasters, basically. It's kind of when he, from what I'm hearing, is he moved to Vegas, and things just didn't go right for him. And like we said, 23 years old, and to catch a vicious, 22, whatever, to catch a vicious beating like that, I don't know if he's going to come back, man. You know, he was in the spotlight. He was becoming the ESPN's favorite, a top rank darling, man. But see, I don't know what's going to happen. I could see his father getting ready to step in, and his father looked like he had a lot of real emotion on his face. And you know, I think the kid's he's gonna have to take some time off. He's gonna have to heal and get the mind right. See what he wants to do. See if he wants to go, because he was a very promising fighter not long ago. And you know, he can go back to the drawing board and come back. But a beating like that, man, that's like you said, it was sad to see. And you know, Giovanni Cabrera, let's see him again. Let's start bringing these fights back again, almost on a weekly basis, bro. They're interesting fights. You got a co and you got a main event. We're gonna talk about that, man. This is what boxing needs. Emotions aside, bro.
Mario, what do you think, brother?
Yeah, look, I hear everybody talking and I agree with pretty much everything. The thing for me is this, and I want to make this very specific, okay? It's not that he got punched a lot, right? This is boxing. People get punched. It's not that alone, right? The problem is the punches that were landing, the positions that he was in, the lack of defense and just total unawareness. Look, I'm not going to pretend like I know more than professionals that do this. I don't care what level they are. I don't care what their record says on BoxRec or whether they have a picture there or not. But as a novice who's done this, you know, who's taken 2 novice fights and barely known anything, I know one thing for sure. If you're getting hit by a straight left and you're an orthodox over and over, a lead left, there's something wrong. That should not be happening when you're a professional. I'm sorry. Like, it just doesn't happen at that level repeatedly. He looked lost. He looked like a fish out of water at times. And here's the biggest problem with this. You could go back and there were like a couple of swing rounds, right? Like Castillo gave him these moments, right? Like, I'm sorry, Cabrera gave him these moments and he like totally just did not take them or could not capitalize on them. And here's Cabrera just landing every lead left that he wanted. You know, the right hand kept hurting him. I mean, there was just nowhere for Gabe to go. And this is not the first time this has looked like this. You know, you go back to his other fight that he lost, the one before this with Lopez. I mean, he looked bad in that fight. He looked just as lost almost. And that was when the whole, you know, should his dad, you know, stop training him, you know, speech started. It was like, well, there's still something there to be gained, right? Because, you know, like historian said, the age factor. But to see what happened on Saturday night and to be a professional at that level, it's going to get dangerous if you cannot protect yourself from some of that offense. Some of that's just on you and ability or lack thereof.
You know what makes it even more dangerous real quick is he's tough. And that's tough.
Great point.
It's the trainer's worst nightmare. It's the referee's worst nightmare. Seeing a guy just getting touched up, and he refuses to quit. He just refuses to. It's tough to watch. Like, as a boxing fan, it's the toughest watch. You just see a dude who's tough. He refuses to quit. He's talking after the fight as if everything's going to be okay. And it's tough. It's tough.
The kid won't even take a knee, let alone quit.
Yeah, like I think that's where his dad should have stepped in the Lopez fight and stopped it, because I think he took a lot of unnecessary punishment in that fight. And look at him now. I think that contributed to his punch resistance being gone. He's not the same. He's like his brain took a lot of unnecessary punishment in that fight. That's where you as a trainer need to step in and be like, I'm going to stop this shit. All right. And he didn't do it for whatever reason. And I saw the post fight and it looked like his dad kept trying to like go in there, like stop the interview. But he just like, it just for whatever reason, it seems to me like I know Gabriel Flores was saying, oh, I didn't listen to my dad. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. And he was giving me the right instructions. But that sounds like a kid that's more concerned about, you know, like it's not the time to be concerned about whether or not you let your dad down. You know what I mean? That's not the time for that. Like at that point, like, look, we get it. You lost the fight. You want to come back to the drawing board. I get that. But I mean, it's the kid that's too concerned about his dad's opinion, in my opinion. Like the whole post fight was about what his dad was doing and said to him. And about his dad didn't lose. I lost. It wasn't my dad. Like, brother, your dad's not the one in the ring. You know what I mean? So it's whatever, you know. But look, Joet Gonzalez loses to Dogboe. Look, I have to be honest. I thought Dogboe was going to I thought he was going to get beat up. I did. I thought it was going to be an easy fight for Joet, and it wasn't. So it kind of is what it is. But, babe, what you make of Dogboe's performance? He kind of surprised me a little bit. And who did you have winning that fight?
Oh, I picked Gonzalez. I had Dogboe winning. I had it 6 rounds to 4 for Dogboe.
Who'd you score it for? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I scored for Dogboe. But I picked Gonzalez to win the fight, and I thought he would win pretty convincingly. To be honest with you, I thought he was quicker. I thought he was bigger. I thought he would be able to get off first, kind of control the range. But Dogboe fought a hell of a fight, man. Hell of a fight. And Barry Hunter, man, what a job in the corner, man. I was on the treadmill watching that fight, man, and I wasn't going to stop after 6 miles. I did another 3 after listening to Barry Hunter, man. He got me going, brother. He got me going. He did a phenomenal job in that corner. And in a close fight like that, you know, a lot of times I tend to dismiss trainers and say it's the fighter that has to do it. It's not up to the trainer. But this is a an exception in my opinion, where I'm gonna kind of walk that back for on this occasion. Barry Hunter really motivated him, said the right things at the right time, and you could just look at both of these guys and how they connected in that corner. And he was really retaining and absorbing what Barry Hunter was telling him. And I have to say, he pushed him through that fight, because that was a tough fight. It was a tough fight. You know, and Gonzalez, I was a little surprised at how Gonzalez, I think, smothered his punches a little bit. You can argue that Dogboe was crowding him too, but he stood there with them, and he didn't look to kind of reestablish himself and, readjust his spacing in the fight. I thought he spent a little bit too much time in the pocket with Dogboe, but again, we got to give credit to Dogboe, because he was just determined. He kept coming forward. He was really getting low, making himself a compact target. It was hard for Gonzalez to have to continuously punch down when he was changing levels on the way in, moving his head on the way in. Dogboe was really good. He was tight. And one thing I did see an improvement on was his defense. He wasn't getting caught clean with a lot of those shots. He was getting touched at times. Obviously, it's a boxing match. You're going to get hit. But he was, blocking a lot of them, rolling some of those shots. And again, by changing the levels, getting low, some of those punches were grazing him and not landing flush. That's why he was able to keep coming forward and not being stopped at his track. So I was very impressed by Dogboe on Saturday.
We'll say, hey, historian, talk to his brother. What you make Dogboe beating Joet?
Well, I mean, it came to a surprise for me because, especially after him coming off of fighting one of my guys, one of my favorite guys, Navarrete, giving him a tough fight. I didn't think much of Dogboe, going into the fight. I thought that Joet Gonzalez at the very least was going to knock him down a couple of times or really get on him, you know what I'm saying, and really impose his will. But, the corner, for Dogboe had the right game plan. And, to me, I thought it was a lack of technique on Joet Gonzalez's standpoint in ring IQ. And look, you get up in there with another guy that's may not be on your level talent-wise, but if the guy's smart enough or if he's able to land enough punches, he can take the fight from you, and that's what Dogboe did. As far as who I had winning the fight, because it was so close, I would have said it was very close to the point. I would have said a draw, but either one of the fighters could have pulled off the victory. So. Okay, Dogboe went up in there and did what he had to do.
Absolutely. Mario Munguia, who'd you score the fight for, and what you think of the Dogboe's performance?
Yeah, I thought it was a good performance. I thought either guy did enough to win that fight. I actually scored it for Gonzalez the first time I watched it, and I had it pretty much the same the second time I was watching it. I did. But here's the problem, though. I didn't get to finish the last 2 rounds, and those are the most important rounds in scoring this fight. Those were the two, in my opinion, rounds where it was like you could just feel that these guys needed. I felt like Dogwood came out very strong, and what Beeb said, that's what was winning him these rounds. He was like keeping distance, and he understands distance so well and the way that it works in terms of, you know, being on offense, being on defense, transitioning. You know, he would get in, throw a flurry, you know, throw a planned combination. He looked good, he looked crisp, and then he'd get out, right? And credit to Joet, because, man, I was waiting for the moment for him to get caught and just go crazy, right? Mm-hmm. And he didn't. He stayed true to the plan, and he started to come back in the fight. You know, I think you could probably give like the first 3 or maybe 4 rounds, I can't remember, you know, to Dogboe, and all the rounds kind of had the same structure and flow, kind of same, you know, script. And then it was that round 4 where it kind of started to change, and you could see, and this was a great matchup, like chess matchup. You could see these guys in the ring, you know, really trying to implement their game plan. And I feel like it would be a good fight to see again. You know, my only criticism, this is going to probably sound a little weird, is, yo, did anybody else notice Joet had that like weird farmer's tan? Like, come on, bro, you about to be on national TV. Like, you know, you don't have to hit the bed or whatever. Just take the shirt off at the pool or something. It was weird. It was distracting. I'm sorry. But yeah, you know, where these two go from here, it's kind of like these guys are like the bubble all-stars, right? And this is one last point I want to make. A lot of people were talking about the quality of this fight, but how fans have been over the last few years programmed and conditioned to feel like Saturday's the big fight night. So they started shitting on this fight like, oh, this isn't a good fight. This is a terrible fight. But if it was on Friday night fights, if it was on Tuesday night fights, if it was on Showbox, if it was on one of these, like if it was on that NBC show that for some reason is gone now, if it was on one of those, like people would be way more excited. It's important to brand these cards very specifically, because I feel like people really undervalued the matchup we were seeing. It was important to both guys. It was something online. Just because it wasn't pound for pounds or the top 1-2 in the division doesn't mean that it doesn't hold value.
Absolutely. Calix, what you think of the performance, brother? And who
actually, I agree with Beeb. I picked Joet to coming into the fight. I thought the betting odds were correct, where Joet was the clear favorite coming in. But Joet fought this fight like it was a 12-round fight instead of a 10-round fight. And Dogboe came in the first 3 rounds with activity. Joet waited too long to start match that activity. He waited until the 4th round. And Dogboe clearly won the first 3 rounds. After 5 rounds, after the first half of the fight, I had it 4-1 Dogboe. But I thought that Joet Gonzalez took 6 through 9. I felt like he swept those rounds and went up 5-4. And then Dogboe, as Beeb said, when Barry Hunter gave him that pep talk before the 10th round, you got to know your fighter, and he knows his fighter. He gave him the pep talk of his life and said, go out, win this round, and we win this fight. And that's what he did. The fight was on the table going into that 10th round, and he went out and won it. But a lot of times when you fight a 10-round fight, you got to have activity. You can't fight a strategic fight and give up the first 3 rounds as if you've got 12 rounds, 9 more rounds to make it up, man. You're almost halfway through that fight at that point. You have to match that activity. There's nothing wrong with fighting a strategic fight, but you can't let a guy come out and be that much more active than you in a 10-round fight. You can't. And that's where Joet messed up. Dogboe won the fight. 126 is fun, man. Like you don't have a great fighter in that division, but you got a bunch of good fighters.
Well said.
And these 2 fighters add to that.
The line of the night from Barry Hunter, when he sent them out in the 10th round, he goes, I never asked you for nothing. Go out and give me this one. That was the best. I almost tore my shirt off. I was so fucking.
I miss moments like that, right?
While you were running in the treadmill?
Yeah. Too many girls.
Wait, Manny.
Go ahead.
My bad. I was just gonna say, wait, man. So Manny Navarrete is not the stable of that division, 126.
He is.
Vargas, brother. The king, brother. What do you mean?
Yeah, he is the king. That is for sure. I'm not sure he's great though, right? Is he great?
I don't know if we can put him up on that level yet.
Yeah, for sure. But hey, Bruce Goss, talk to what you make of the fight and what do you score for?
I'm gonna respond on something Mario was saying, bro. You know, the first thing I look at every Saturday night, what's happening. I saw this fight, you know, Dogboe and Gonzalez. Yeah, you know, it's okay, but then, you know, I started thinking about it. I'm like, you know, this is a nice little fight here, man. Both of these guys, and it's going to show you, man. An L doesn't mean what these fucking fans think it does today, because this right here, like you said, bro, Tuesday night fights, a Friday night fights, even go back to Gillette Friday night fights, man. These are the kind of fights you need, especially the featherweights, man. You know, you're keeping the name alive, because when I first started watching boxing in '76. And it was a Guyanan boxer too, bro. We're talking about Guyana. Go look at the fucking boxers Guyana put out. Azuma Nelson, Ike Corte, and those are only the recent ones. But you know, you can go back and I saw this Guyanan boxer. His name was David Cote, and he fought Danny Little Red Lopez. And I'm saying, look at this fucking Danny Little Red Lopez. And this is the guy that I followed, and it involved the Salvador Sanchez. And Salvador Sanchez was fighting everybody at featherweight. And this is what should happen now, man. Get these guys, because they had an unsuccessful shot at the title, their careers aren't over, man. Put them in there with each other. They went back to school. Let them show us what they learned. And this was a good fight, man. And watching this fight, bro, to me, Dogboe, he kind of steamrolled the first 3 rounds. But Gonzalez he landed a shot. I think it was a right hook, because he's a southpaw, and I thought fucking Dogboe was going to go down, especially when I saw it again in slow motion. But it became like almost like a Rocky fight. But I think that last round, man, like you said, Virgil Hunter, I think that Guyanan talk got to him, and man, I think he must have said, your ancestors, man, your country is watching you, because believe me, these guys are rock stars in Guyana. So and shout out to Isaac Dogboe, man, and also to fucking Gonzalez. They gave us a great Saturday night fight. Some people didn't even watch it, man. I thought it was, if you missed it, you're not a boxing fan. And man, it could have been a draw. I wouldn't have complained. But Dogboe, he won the fight with that last round, and good 10 rounds of scrapping, bro.
Absolutely. Hey, Joe, I want to ask you one more question, brother, before we let you go, but I want to ask you about Andrade. I know you talked about a Ringside Reporter, but talk to us here about Andrade. He's calling out Eubanks, practically begging him, talking to a camera while he's being filmed by another camera. I don't know what that's about. You know what I mean? I just don't get that, but he sounded drunk to me. I don't know if he was or he wasn't. No mention of Janabek's name. He looks like he's panicking, like, please fight me, brother. Let's fight each other instead of fighting this dude. Like, what's going on, babe?
This reminded me of back in the day when you get in a fight with your girlfriend and you're trying to walk out of the house, and she's grabbing you by the arm. Don't go. Please don't leave. Sort of like what Amber Heard was trying to do to Johnny Depp after Johnny Depp took her out. But here's the thing, man. Like, he already knows that Eubanks is going to be fighting Ben, right? The fight's already signed. So he's like, please don't go through with it. Don't do it. It's like, come on, man. It was pathetic. It was ridiculous. I think he's going to vacate the title. I still believe that. A lot of people disagree with me. But all of his behavior right now is showing me and indicating to me that he does not care about this title. And now he's looking to cash himself out. He wants to get paid. You know, with or without that title. Eric and I talked about this yesterday. Even with the title, he still hasn't gotten the big fight. So what's the difference about having the title or not? It hasn't done him any benefit, because everyone's saying, oh, he needs that title. That's his lifeline. That's like his Mjolnir. Without his Mjolnir, he doesn't have the power. I mean, come on, man. He hasn't gotten the big fight with the title, so it doesn't matter one way or the other if he vacates it or not. He's just looking for the bag. He wants to cash out. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, he's making it pretty obvious too that he wants to cash out. Everybody, make sure you tune into the roundtable on Ringside Reporter this Thursday. I want to thank you for coming on, brother. Shout out to the Beeb, you know what I mean? Hey, a shout out to Corey Lee Boxing. Thanks for the support. But this is awesome show. Continue to be great. Usyk #1 pound for pound, he says. Man, historian. So like. This dude's like talking to a camera, right? And he's like talking to a camera while he's being filmed by another camera, right? When is the original? I don't know what that's about, but and he's begging, like it's just I was waiting for him to get on his knees and be like, "Come on, Eubanks, fight me, please." Like he looks like a dude that like that's how it comes off, you know. But what do you make of it? Is he going to fight Janabek or what?
Yeah, look, he's not fighting no damn Janabek. He's not fighting no goddamn Janabek. I mean, this is the same guy that has fought with 31 fights in the last 13 or 14 years, as long as I've been watching him box. Look, I mean, the last guy that he fought was Jason Quigley. All right, the bum known as Jason Quigley. Just gotta call it what it is, and he avoided Zach Parker. Damn. Zach Parker, who is a puncher, may not be a skilled boxer, but is a puncher who's a threat, and you avoid him off of some, phantom injury. I'm just gonna call that what it is, to fight Chris Eubanks Jr., who's already, if I'm not mistaken, gonna be ready to fight someone else. Like, come on, man. I mean, and Janabek is supposed to be a mandatory, right? Why not take that goddamn mandatory? I mean, you shouldn't even be having the damn belt if you only fight once a year. Like, this shit don't even make. You know what? I'm gonna keep it PG-13 on here.
What do you think? You don't gotta keep it PG-13. Just speak your mind.
It is what it is. This shit is just stupid, man. This shit don't even make fucking.
This is Aftermath. This isn't ESPN. Like, what's going on?
I forgot. Yeah,
say the C word if you want.
My bad. I've had like.
I said cunt.
My bad. I had 5 beers plus 5. Modelo, so you gotta excuse me.
Well, come on, these styles like they think they gotta wear a tie and shit. Like it's all good. Speak your mind, brother. Censoring here.
But I mean, goddamn, Janabek though. I mean,
this is if you have TBH on your podcast, you're my enemy show. That's what this is. I mean, let's go. Like
okay. Well, you want that? Okay, let's do it. Well, listen. The dude's voiding Janabek.
About it?
He don't want to fight no goddamn Janabek. All right, and who else is there to fight at 160? But then again, what about fucking? I thought he said he wanted to fight Triple G, and I thought he said he wanted to fight them other guys. What? You know what? I'm tired. Strip this man. Just go off to the sunset. You ain't fought no. He hasn't fought one B class fighter. You can't name me one B level fighter he's fought in the last 14 years out of his 30 damn fights. This is a damn shame. And people think he's a fighter.
That's his best win, Vanes. Matter Ocean. That's his best win. Like Triple G's tune-up was his best win. Like, I'm just saying, like, hey, Bruce Goss. All gas, no breaks. Talk to us. What do you make, man? Well, why is he looking at a camera while he's being filmed by another camera? Why is he filming himself getting filmed?
Yeah, what that was filmed is probably 10 miles from where I'm sitting right now. I mean, I know the street. I know what goes on in there, man. The streets of South Providence, man. Believe me, very, very few athletes survived that. I mean, there was a basketball player back in the 70s. His name was Marvin Bonds. Do a little bit of research and check this guy out because he was one of the best in the NBA, and he got bought to the ABA, and he would have been an all class superstar, but he couldn't get the streets of Providence out of him, bro. And Demetrius Andrade. And his name is Andrade too, man. I see Andrade. I'm even starting to say it. Around here, if you said Andrade, they'd fucking roll you. They knew you were coming from outside and you had a wad in your pocket, bro. But anyway, man, I really think he's happy with the cash that he's got. He could build a nice apartment building up, man. And he's just too laid back, man. Those streets of South Providence, they take the fight out of you, bro. I mean, you just want to get comfortable. You want to get away from that shit. And I can see that in his eye. He's really too laid back, man. He could have been a great fighter because everybody followed him. Like he said, man, a dozen years ago, out of the amateurs. He was beating everybody, and he just never panned out. He was never active. Like you said, man, can you name a champ that he's beat? He's got 2 world titles, big deal, man. Everybody's got world titles today. And that's what they're saying about him. His homies don't have any faith in him. And it's sad, man. But it's a career that I think is already expired, and maybe he can get a decent fight, maybe, but man, it's sad, it's not even funny. And I try to make funny out of everything, bro,
Look, I just want Andrade to be the dude that he acted like he was after he beat Sulecki. You know what I mean? He beat Sulecki. He's in his post-fight interview, and he's like, Sulecki isn't Rocky Fielding. He's not any of these dudes. These other guys are fighting. Sulecki's the real deal. Like, no, he wasn't. How about you fight Janabek, and then you could do that speech? Then I'll accept the speech. I'll accept Janabek is no this, he's no that, and I beat him. Like, and then guess what? People will get behind you. Yeah, fucking Andrade just beat fucking Janabek, who you guys call the boogeyman. But you want to pretend you're beating guys like that. You're not really beating guys like that. I don't want to hear. I can't stand motherfuckers that talk like everyone fucking ducking them. But then when dudes raise their hands and it's not the right dude, all of a sudden the energy just changes. It's a shift all of a sudden, right? I see it with all these. When it comes to Canelo, I'll fight Canelo anywhere. He's running scared. Hey, but I'll fight you. Why nobody know who you are? Like, what the fuck? You can't accuse Canelo doing some, and you turn around and do it too. You can't get mad at Canelo because he calls you boring, but you're calling Lara boring. Well, you don't want to fight Lara. You can't be doing that same shit. This shit's getting ridiculous with Andrade. Then he's talking to a camera while he's being filmed by a camera. That is a microcosm of this dude's career. That's what that is. He's like, look at me. I'm being filmed. Bro, like, we know you're being filmed. That's what you do on the internet when you talk on camera. Like, how stupid would it be if I was doing this podcast, like looking at my camera, but there's another camera filming me looking at my camera? That's fucking stupid, right? But it's a look at me. See, I'm doing this. See, I want to fight you. Eubanks? Is that your other Sulecki? Are you going to give us that speech after you beat Eubanks too? What? Eubanks is not Rocky Fielding. He's not like who? Like, what is this? Kelly, you remember that speech, right, Kellex? After the Sulecki win, he was acting like he just beat like a monster, like a beast, and that he's look who I'm fighting. You know what I mean? Look at who you dudes are fighting. Like, what are you talking about, Sulecki? But anyway, Kellex, well, what do you make of him looking at a camera, looking at him? I mean, he's filming on a camera that probably wasn't even recording, but the one that was recording was looking at him, looking at the camera.
You know what I think about that? I think it's genius. I think it's absolutely genius, D-Style. And I think that it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I don't get it. But, like, Bruce, is Andrade, is he Peter Manfredo Jr.? Is he Peter Manfredo Jr.?
Talented as hell, but the inner spark just never ignited in him. He could have gotten a fight with any of the top aforementioned fighters we're talking about, but he just never made himself active. What did he do last November? He fought some fucking guy named what? Edwards from Ireland up in New Hampshire. Half the people from Ireland, man, because, we going to New Hampshire, are you kidding me? We'd have to get a hotel room and everything else, and it's only about 25, 50 miles away at the most. But, he can't even sell out his own home arenas, and it's truly a sad thing because he could have been up there with the best of them. And I say that in almost like in a obituary sense, man. That's...
the reason I brought up Peter Manfredo because at least the pride of
Peter Manfredo, bro. I was just talking to one of Peter's buddies last week, man. A kid named Tommy Amada. He was a middleweight back then, and Peter Manfredo was a hero. Still is around here. He's still got a gym, bro. His father, and him and Demetrius. They probably get together and go to one of the hookah bars around here, man.
But look, Boo Andrade, I agree with Beeb. he's going to drop that title. He's going to vacate. You can see it now. This telegraphs a D-Style because we talked about it last week. Everybody was saying, you know, he doesn't have options at 168. Everybody knows that. He's with Dimitri Salita Promotions. So he's got no options. He's got to take this fight. But what this shows me is he's grasping for straws now. I mean, Eubanks is already gone, man. He's fighting Conor Benn. It looks like that way anyway. But I mean, even if he's not going to point to Demetrius Andrade now and say, yeah, let's get this fight on. He's not. Like, he just doesn't have any options. So fight Janabek. And the thing is, the WBO knew this. Bob Arum knew this. They knew Andrade was in this position. They knew, give him 30 days. He's either going to vacate the belt or Janabek's going to beat him. One of the two. But Janabek's about to get that WBO belt at middleweight.
This is the Barfather.
He's going to get it, D-Style. I think D-Style froze up.
Oh, shit. Maybe that was Bob Arum. What the fuck is Bob Arum? Like, you know what I mean? But I'm going to do it again. Bob probably called the WBO, and he was like, look, you son of a bitches, you work for me. All right? Make Janabek the mandatory. And he's going to fight the champion because ain't nobody give a fuck about boo-boo. He's doo-doo. Goodbye. And guess what the WBO did? They went ahead and they activated the mandatory. And you know what? We're going to call it mandatory when it comes to the WBO because Bob Arum owns the WBO, and that's how he says it, okay? Mm-hmm. It's not mandatory. It's mandatory when Bob Arum is involved, okay? And let me just tell you guys something. Where does he got to go, bro? Like, he's got nowhere to go. And you know what? You try to play the game's going to play you. Like Beep talked about his interview. The dude was bragging about how, yeah, I didn't fight Jermell when I could have fought him, but it's a bigger fight now, so I made the right choice. Like, okay, well, I guess it wasn't the right choice because you ain't going to get the fight. You know what I mean? Like,
so I guess he basically admitted to ducking there.
He basically said that it was the right choice because, look, they're bigger names now, and it's a bigger fight now to make more money. But he ain't made more money. You know, these dudes aren't built the same. All right, let me tell you a story of a lovely champion. His name was Bernard Hopkins. You know what he did when nobody knew him? He just got all the belts. He got all of them. And if you wanted to be a champion, you had to fight him for the championship. And then guess what? He fought everybody, all the dudes that nobody knew that were dangerous and all that. He just grabbed all even the secondary belts. He snatched every single one of them. And when they said he had a mandatory, he just fought them. And Larry Merchant got mad about it. He said, look, they're not going to take away these belts from me. So if I got to fight these dudes that nobody knows, it's whatever. I'm going to defend that belt. I'm going to keep these belts. Guess what? When Trinidad wanted to go up there and campaign, guess what? There was only one road, Hopkins Boulevard. When De La Hoya wanted to move up and he wanted to be that dude, guess who he had to fight? Bernard Hopkins. All right? So he got his cash. He got his money. He got the big money fights. But look at what he did to get the big money fights. Look at what he did. This dude won't even fight one dangerous contender, bro.
Thank you. No, I was gonna say, like, this brings up a great point. If the dudes at middleweight would have been taking care of business, if they would have been unifying, if they would have been fighting top competition, they would have been able to leverage themselves better for a Canelo fight at 168. And that's it. Like, I don't want to hear it now. I don't want to hear it. Like, it was the small violin for Benavidez at 168 too. If Benavidez would have kept his belt, he would have gotten the job by now.
Pobrecito Benavidez. Poor Benavidez. He missed weight.
But I talked about this last week, D-Style. It's like the middleweight division, how far down it's come since Hopkins was doing what he was doing. Hopkins was fighting every single body they put in line to fight him. And then when dudes with bigger names wanted to come up and invade his territory, knocked him out. Knocked out Tito. Knocked out Oscar. And he knocked out other guys. He knocked out Glenn Johnson in the 90s, dude. Hopkins was a beast. He was a beast. He was
he wasn't making millions. He wasn't making all this money when he was doing that. No. But it got him to the millions, though.
And he was active too. He was consistently fighting. These guys are not consistently fighting, and they're not consistently fighting top competition. So I don't want to hear it when they complain about not getting the shot at the big fight. You could have earned that by now. You could have earned it, and now you're playing keep up. And then on top of that, both of them pulled out of fights. Charlo pulled out of a fight. Andre pulled out of a fight. Both injuries.
Hey, but Calix, so here's a funny thing. Charlo hasn't fought since June of last year.
Yes.
What the fuck, man? Like, how can guys keep?
And then he's going to return his glorious return against fucking Sulecki. And this is the dude, once again, after he beat him, Andrade gets on his high horse and I just fought. You see what I just fought? I just fought Sulecki. Sulecki ain't no Rocky Fielding. Sulecki ain't no old Kovalev, whatever the fuck he was saying. Like, shut the fuck up. All right? I don't think Sulecki is better than Rocky Fielding anyway, but that's a different story. All right? My opinion. Sulecki. No, if you want to talk like that, if you want to be that, if you want to be Bernard Hop, I beat Glenn Johnson. Okay? I beat Joppy. I beat, the top
Robert
guys.
Allen.
Robert Allen's another one that he beat. Vanderpool's another one. He beat a lot of guys, right? And the truth is, he had to do those fights not for big money, not for fame. He wasn't selling out arenas, but guess what? All roads left. And you know what he did? He didn't even have a manager, bro. He managed himself because his thought process was, I'm the best. Just give me whoever. I'm going to beat all of them. And guess what? Whenever people want that fight, you're going to have to fucking fight me. All right? That should be the mentality of this dude. Go ahead, Bruce.
He lost the biggest fight of his life, bro. He lost against Roy Jones. They were fucking on a collision course, bro. And everybody said, this is the end of Bernard Hopkins. They were laughing at that executioner mask. And he started right from square one. He just fucking got that middleweight title. He fucking got the light heavyweight. I mean, the man is Hall of Fame. No doubt about it. But like you're saying, bro, everybody had to get through him. And he had to earn that spot. It wasn't like Demetrius Andrade. He's not going to scream that after fucking, I don't know. Demetrius Andrade, like I said, bro, he's one of my homies, and it really hurts me. It depresses me to see that happen, man. Vinny Pazienza, even Peter Manfredo.
How much did he get paid
come on.
How much did he get paid for John David Jackson? How much do you think he got paid? Probably not much, right? But he positioned himself but this was throughout his career, though. Booba hasn't done anything to position himself. He should know, people should, if you're going to play the game, you got to know where you are in the chessboard. You know what I mean? If you're still a pawn, because that's what you are, really. I mean, I don't want to say that, but you are. You're still a pawn in the chessboard. What have you done to upgrade yourself to bishop? You haven't done anything. Mm-hmm. You got to take some risk to position yourself better on that chessboard. Boo Boo hasn't done it. Hopkins started as a fucking pawn. He lost his first fight, had to work his way up. He probably worked his way up to bishop, then boom, got knocked back down as a pawn. When he lost to Roy Jones, he kept climbing up and he worked himself all the way to fucking king. All right? Mm-hmm. And he did it by taking those risks. What has Boo Boo done to take himself out of that pawn position? Mm-hmm. What has he done, Calix?
Nothing. And it's important to point out that Hopkins staked this position at middleweight, took on all comers, and then anybody who tried to invade his territory, he knocked back down. When Oscar stepped up, when Trinidad stepped up, and then when Oscar stepped up, he knocked these guys out. He knocked them out.
Look, truthfully, the De La Hoya fight and the Trinidad fight were not the toughest fights of his middleweight run. They weren't.
No, they weren't.
But they were the big money fights.
Yeah, well, that was Don King's middleweight tournament, and Don King didn't like Bernard Hopkins, so he was throwing everybody after Bernard Hopkins, and nothing was sticking, bro. Don King he backed off Bernard Hopkins in the 2000s, man, during Hopkins' career.
And it's also important to point out real quick what D-Style, what you just said is Bernard made sure to make sure that all roads led through him at middleweight. There was no Oscar. There was no with Felix, there was no coming up to middleweight and fighting anybody else. If you want to be the guy at middleweight, you got to come through me.
You have to fight Hop.
These guys haven't staked the claim. They haven't staked the position at middleweight. They just haven't. So they're not unifying anything. They're not active. We don't know what weight they're campaigning at. Are they even middleweight still? Chris Eubanks Jr. is fighting a welterweight. So none of these guys are interested.
What it is, before I go to historian really quick, because he's been wanting to chime in, but look, the truth is, if Hopkins had someone like PBC giving him $3 million or $2 million to fight John David Jackson, he probably doesn't need to unify. He probably doesn't do any of those things. He probably doesn't try to fight the best. He probably does stay complacent to fight, Robert Allen. Oh, you're going to pay me $2 million to fight Robert Allen again? Okay, shit. Let's just do that. You know what I mean? And he probably doesn't get all those belts. And then that allows Trinidad De Loya to just go ahead and get an IBF or something against somebody else. And they never have to fight him. They don't have an incentive to fight him. But that's how I feel about it. Historian, do you think these guys are just making too much money for their own good, almost for their legacy?
I think all of these guys are. I mean, because at one point is the integrity of the business of boxing is in question, because like everybody's been saying on the panel, these guys don't know if they're coming or going. They don't know if they want to stay at middleweight or move up, and it's holding the goddamn division up to the point where motherfuckers can keep the damn ball for guys can keep the damn the belt for a whole calendar year without being stripped. Like how are you a champion? You don't defend your belt for a year and a half. And when you look at these guys, man, like Charlo, Andrade, hell, even with Ryota Maruta, right? And Triple G, these guys it took them how many years to fight to unify those belts? This is getting monotonous in boxing, man. This is not just in the middleweight division. This is in the whole sport, But these individuals in particular at middleweight, man, like these guys, they might as well not even be boxers, man, at this point.
Hey, shout out to the Don. He says he can't text and we don't want you to text and drive, brother. Like, you know what I mean? You're gonna have to pressure some. But when we see you, man, we appreciate it. Dennis was best. As Andre was an unreal amateur. That's what he's trading off. But far better amateur like Lomachenko taking on everyone. Absolutely. Like that's a good point. Like no great amateur. Like all we got to do is point at Lomachenko, even Ringendow. At the end of the day, I mean, he got his shots. Ringendow fought champions. He got the Donaire fight. You know what I mean? At least
Zab was a great amateur, and Zab fought all everybody in his era. Zab fought him. He might have lost, but he fought him.
Yeah, shout out to Lance Mayer. But look, guys, not a lot happened this weekend, but that's pretty much the show. But I just want to go around and get you guys his final last thoughts. Be on the lookout for me and Calix middle of this week and the roundtable on Beeb's channel. That's a Ringside Reporter. TBH, this has been another edition. If you fuck with TBH, you're my enemy podcast. But you have any final words, brother?
Oh, yeah. Well, hey, shout out to the enemies. You dig what I'm saying? But with that being said, though, good panel, good talking boxing. I will say this, hopefully down the line, Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia, I just want to address that. Uh-oh. That fight, as pathetic as it is with these two guys not getting in the ring with guys, that fight's going to happen before Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. Mark my words. Hey, if I'm wrong, then you can roast my ass. But if I'm right, then you already know. And if it happens, then you already know Terrence Crawford and what's his name? Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence probably ain't going to happen until maybe the fall of 2023.
Damn. What if I get hit by a bus and I don't see the fight? You know what I mean? Shit's crazy over here. You know what I mean? Hey, but thanks for coming on, brother. I appreciate it, man. Hey, Bruce Goss, talk to us, brother. Talk to us. All Goss, tell everybody where they can find you, what you got going on, any final thoughts,
Yeah, bro. Appreciate you dropping me a link to come on here, D-Style. It's always good to talk with some fucking semi-educated casuals over here, bro. It does my heart well, man. And, Bruce Gas Boxing Jazz and Law. I'm gonna drop my link in there, man. If anybody's around tomorrow, I'm gonna be talking to Dave Tiberi. If anybody doesn't know who he is, bro, he fought a fucking disputed decision with James Lights Out Tony back in '92, and this fight was brought before the fucking United Circuit Court, and it brought into effect the Ali Act. I mean, this was big. And Dave Tiberi, that was his last fight. He was 25 in his prime. He had Bernard Hopkins training him for this fight. He's got a lot of stories I think he's going to tell us, man. But anyway, bro, I appreciate you having me on here, D Styles. Callie, my brother, I listen to you all the time now, man. Always good shit. The boxing historian.
Gotta have you on.
Man. All good stuff. And Ebony Bridges and Shannon the Cannon, man. Let's see that happen, brother. So thanks again, once again, my brothers. Peace, man. I'll see you next week, bro.
Absolutely. Shout out to you. Calix, man, what's on your mind, brother? Any final thoughts?
Yeah, tomorrow, me and you will be on my channel around 1:30 to 2 p.m. Central. So be on the lookout for that. And I'm going to have Punch Perfect Boxing from over in the UK. Great channel from over in the UK to talk with us about a lot of things boxing and a lot of things UK boxing as well. So be on the lookout for that. Good show lined up tomorrow. But my final thoughts as far as the boxing world is when the promoters and the managers aren't doing their jobs, when the fighters don't look like they're interested in legacy anymore, it's the sanctioning body's job to start to clean up these divisions and mandate fights that need to be mandated. And when you see what happened with the WBC over the weekend, where they lift out of nowhere, levitate Keith Thurman up to number 1, jump him over Virgil Ortiz and Evan Nesbitt, who he was behind, and they get him up to number 1. That's the opposite of it, because at welterweight, we need this division to get clean. We need movement in the division. We need these young lions to get their shots at the champions, and we're not going to do that if we're elevating guys who have already gotten their shots and aren't even active in the division. So when I saw it, though, I thought my first reaction to it was, I think Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford are having some trouble in negotiations, and this is the backup plan to make Errol Spence versus Keith Thurman for the WBC strap if that fight falls through.
For sure. Hey, man, I appreciate you coming on, brother, and I hope to see you again. I mean, I'm gonna see you tomorrow, but unless I get hit by a bus, you know what I mean? But other than that, we should be good. All right, peace out, brother.
Later.
Just don't hit the end broadcast.
No, I won't.
All right. Hey guys, I appreciate everybody coming. I want to take a moment right now to acknowledge a subscriber of mine that passed away recently. Well, I say recently, from what I saw in the obituary, he passed away last year. So it's been over a year, I believe, and that's unfortunate. D Hodges was a subscriber to my channel for a while, for a couple of years actually, and he was always in my chats. He was always, saying what's up. He was always, greeting me, showing me respect. I showed him respect, obviously. When I heard the news at first, like anything, I don't believe everything I hear on the internet. I was skeptical, obviously, in a good way. I just want to make sure stuff like that's true. But I got the word that he did in fact pass away, and that's unfortunate. Any details about that? I mean, Mark Nash did a great video, and he talked to his mother and everything. But I feel for them and for her for losing her son, and for me for losing someone who was a great friend here on YouTube, and someone I talked to, someone who greeted me. D Hodges one time came on my panel and he let me know, like, just up front, right? He was like, look, man, like I'm down with your shit. I love your stuff. And one thing he told me was, a lot of people are mad at me because I'm cool with you, but I know you're a good dude and I got no reason to have any hatred for you. Right. And I felt the same. And look, like D Hodges was a good dude. And I'm not here to talk about anybody, but anybody who was angry at D Hodges because maybe you had beef with me and he was on my channel and all that, like, I mean, I would hope that that's something you just let go and reflect on, you know what I mean? And I hope that you give him his proper shout out, because he showed a lot of people love. And if he showed you love, and you outcast them in any way, shape, or form, you should do the right thing and show them love. Okay? I'm not on the internet to beef with people. I'm not on the internet to talk bad about people. I'm just here to talk boxing with people. That's it. That's literally all I come here to do. And I think that's enough. That's enough of me to give people. You know what I mean? And that's that was a D Hodges way. He just wanted to talk boxing with people. He wanted to gain, absorb different perspectives from different walks of life. That was what D Hodges was all about. You know what I mean? And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make it about D Hodges. And the way I'm going to do that, like moving forward, and I've already tried to do this, but I'm going to double down with it. Okay. I'm just here to be cool with people. I'm here to talk boxing, right? I'm here to be cool with everybody. You know what I mean? If you got beef with me, if you're angry with me, because I had certain people on my panels, if you're whatever it is, I don't get involved with all that shit. I just don't. Oh, you're cool with him, so I'm not going to be cool with you. And you talk to him and you got him on your, like D Hodges was against that. D Hodges wasn't for that. D Hodges he was for unity. He was for talking boxing. It was about, this shit should be fun. You know what I mean? And that's what I want to do. So anyone who has beef with me, I got no beef with you. If you're beefing by yourself. Like that's it. Right? Because it's not about me. It's not about it. Like this is about talking boxing. That's all it is. Anyone out there that has any issues with me for whatever reason, even if I was in the wrong, I'm right now, I'm doing like an all-out squash. Like I'm squashing. I'm done. I don't want to beef with anybody. This is going to be the D Hodges rule. I'm just going to be cool with everybody. You know what I mean? And wherever I go, I'm going to go where I want to go. I'm going to chat. I'm going to be in the chats that I want to be in. I'm going to be on the panels I want to be at. I'm going to do it the way D Hodges did it. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to learn from D Hodges, right? That's what I'm going to do. And that's how I'm going to play tribute to D Hodges. All right. So with that said, this is D Style Boxing. Keep it boxing. I'm out of here, guys.